Welcome, everyone, to the Michigan Association of Secondary School Principals podcast series, featuring great discussions, insight, and resources on all things related to education and administration. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode on the MASSP podcast. My name is Ryan Casey. I am once again joined by my co-host, Nina Davis. Nina, how's it going?
Hey, Ryan, it is going well. I'm so excited to be back with you with another episode here.
We are coming towards the end of season 6. We have our 10th and 11th or 11th and 12th episode coming up. And I'm excited about this one because we are going to be joined by some folks from Howell High School to learn about their Senior Survivor program. And he is no stranger to the MASSP podcast. Mr. Jason Schrock is with us today, plus some other teammates from Howell High School. We got a chance, Jason, to talk last year about social media. And I, once again, it's that time of year, all these awesome things are going on at high schools towards the end of the year. And I see all this stuff on Twitter about senior survival, Survivor. I've heard of it before. I've seen photos, and I just thought, man, we've got to get you back on this thing to learn about this great program. So thanks again for being with us today.
Absolutely. I appreciate you having us, Ryan and Nina. Thanks.
And who is joining us from Howell with you today?
I would love for them to introduce themselves and also kind of the role that they've played at Senior Survivor and even their team names. But because this is not just a program that we offer, this has been a student-led and student-run fundraiser for a number of years. I thought it was really important that we introduce you to a couple of the senior survivors from this school year, as well as one of our staff members who has been instrumental from the beginning. Is that right, Aaron?
15 years.
15 years. He has been behind the scenes helping our student council advisors with all of the digital content that is produced and helping our students learn how to capture all the activities that's been going on. So I'll let Aaron introduce himself, and then our seniors as well that have joined us, and also your team names. Remember that.
Thank you for having us. My name is Aaron Metz. I am a leadership teacher here at Howell High School, and also run our video production class and program. And so I've been part of Senior Survivors since we started in 2008. So it's been a great project to work on, and look forward to answering your questions.
I'm Faith McDevitt, and I was Team MC Hammer this year.
Hi, my name is Brent Nichols, and my team name is Nickelback.
Ooh, good name. I like it. I see what you did there. All right. Well, if you guys could just kind of, let's start with like a real high level overview of what the Senior Survivor program is all about at Howell High School.
Yeah, go ahead, Aaron. I'll let Aaron answer this because from my perspective, like it is so powerful having our staff and students involved in every possible part of the decision making. This is, I'll just say from my lens, this is bigger than homecoming for Howell Public Schools. This ties all of our buildings together, and it's not just about one competition. This is about giving back to the community. But I'd love to have Aaron talk a little bit more about the concept and how it's developed.
So this whole thing started back in 2008. Bob Starkey, who's one of our principals now of our elementary schools, kind of got this thing kicked off. I think he was at a conference and heard about another school that was doing something similar and brought it back here to Howell High School. And we started off the first year, and really it was just a high school student council event where our StuCo advisors and students kind of put everything together, and the kids started off, and we raised $5,000 that first year, a little over $5,000. And then it's really grown ever since then. We've really tried to maintain it being student-led and student-planned. Obviously, being that with the student council advisors and leadership teachers, we kind of help, the force behind it, but really it's the students who make the decisions. They plan out the challenges, they help get the rewards, help plan out the meals, everything that takes place during that week. And really it came back as a way for us to give back to organizations from everything from Make-A-Wish to Stiggy's Dogs, which was therapy dogs for military or returning military members who came home and needed that assistance. The scholarship funds for Mackenzie Watts, which was a student here. That was our very first year. And up until now, where we're actually going to build a playground. And so we've always had proposals and things like that. And the students have helped decide what we wanted to do. And then the senior survivors apply every year. There's an application process, there's a video, and then they are chosen. And then it takes over the course of a week where they live in the school until they are just like the television show, sent home. Ours is not based necessarily on competitions, but about their fundraising dollars or how they choose to play their money through each week. And it's really been a lot of success. It's been a lot of fun for our whole school community, because now we've got to the point now where at every phase students graduate. So in our district, they graduate from 5th grade to 6th grade, 8th grade to the high school. So now we actually have junior survivors that are making those transitions too. So we've tried to incorporate every transition period and make them a part of it, which really allows us to incorporate our entire district into this event.
This sounds wonderful. I'm thinking of how I can get back in high school, Ryan, to Howell High School so I can participate in Survivor myself. But can you tell me, how long has the program been running at Howell High School? And do you have a figure in terms of to date, how much money has been raised?
So we've been around, we started in 2008. And to date, we've raised $992,000 in 15
It's amazing.
years, just under $1 million.
Wow.
Wow.
So this year, I would like to assume, correct me if I'm wrong, that maybe things are kind of back to normal. When I say that, maybe back to how it was ran pre-pandemic. I'm curious to know, just in the last couple of years, how did you have to change or adapt or modify based on just, things that were happening, with remote learning and all of the mandates and whatnot. So I guess, how is this year going compared to maybe the last couple of years, or how did you work through all that?
Well, so one thing is that this program wouldn't happen without, the support of our administration. And then obviously in 2020, the pandemic hit and schools got shut down right when we were going to kick off Senior Survivor. I mean, literally the
week before.
The week before. So, and a big part of Senior Survivor is the T-shirts that we print. Each team gets a colored T-shirts, and people had bought those shirts and all these things. And one thing that we were able to do that year of the pandemic is we went Senior Survivor remote, and we still printed the shirts. We still did everything. We changed our focus that year when we raised $50,000 during that 2020 year. But once we really got shut down, we tried to make it more just a fun event for our senior class, really to have something to remember that year by, because the reality was that, they lost that last part of their senior year, and we wanted to fight really hard to give them some normalcy to make those memories of their senior year. So we went virtual with that, and really had I think the best experience we could make for our seniors. There were still all the online episodes. Everything was just done from their house. So it was a lot of Zoom calls and things like that. And then coming to the next year, we just, we had to figure out what the regulations on and what the things were that we have, how to adjust. Even that, last year, I think people were excited to be back into school. And even with the limitations we had, we still had one of our biggest years, and we were able to raise $229,000.
Amazing.
Yeah, our staff was able to adjust last year, given a lot of the COVID mitigation expectations that schools had to follow. One of the things that, our students can speak about is what it's like to live in the high school for multiple days on end. And so we had to incorporate appropriate social distancing and what that looked like last year with a lot of restrictions. But we were able to make that happen. Our staff came together and really had a well thought out plan to make sure our kids were safe and could still have that activity. But yeah, this year we were fortunate to get back into a place of operating the fundraiser like it had been in the past.
Be a few weeks. So where are we at in the process right now? I know we have, again, two different students with us on two different teams. So where are we right now as we're talking with the Survivor competition?
Why don't you guys let them know how we wrapped up last week or 2 weeks ago? Yeah.
2 weeks ago.
Yeah, 2 weeks ago.
Wow, it was already 2 weeks ago. So we had a whole week. We were stuck in the school. It started on Sunday. We got here at like 2:30, 1:30. And we moved in, we brought our stuff in, and that was fun. You know, I was livid because I've waited for this like my whole high school career for this like one event. And now that I'm actually here, I set my tent up and everything. And then we went and we met all the junior survivors. And then the whole week, it was really awesome. And then we ended with the finale. And that's when we announced everybody, and then we announced court, and we announced all the final four, since there's 16 of us. Every day, a couple get knocked down and they get eliminated. And then there's left with 4 survivors during the finale. And that's when they announced the winner of Senior Survivor.
And Team MC Hammer, why don't you talk about the assembly, what that looked like?
At the assembly, we each got introduced, and then we got to sit down. And then they introduced the final 4, and they announced, starting at like 4th place and going up, the winner, which was Aiden Relco. And then they announced how much money we raised over the entire fundraiser, which was $222,000.
Wow, like that's just unbelievable to raise that amount of money, in this type of event. So I know that some of our fellow administrators listening in are going to want more details. They may want to duplicate something like this. So I guess the questions I have for you, if someone were looking to get something like this going, how would you recommend they get started? And just overall logistically, what does it take to make an event like this successful? I'm imagining there are a lot of stakeholders involved, a lot of people involved in this process. So just kind of some basics of how would someone go about getting started? And then how have you logistically put the pieces together to help this event grow into, what it is today?
I think the biggest thing to start with is your why. Simon Sinek is a author and speaker that talks about your purpose and the why. And we started with our why, with wanting to give back to the community. So any school that wants to start this, it is a lot of fun, but the biggest joy we see is how much we can support local organizations, or in this case, a local park. We're going to add an inclusive playground. So I think the biggest place to start is why. What's your purpose in doing this? Not just fun, but for us, it's been fun with a purpose of being community oriented. What does it take? It takes a team. There's no way this event could be pulled off year after year without the staff I have. Aaron Metz has been key, like he said, for 15 years. Our student council advisors spend months planning all the fun activities. And I don't know, from the student perspective, what's been the most eye-catching, like why has it been so successful from your point of view? Why have you wanted to do this?
I just really like how they get, like, the entire school gets involved. Like, even during lunches, the survivors, we would sell things during lunches like pizza and stuff. And all of the students get involved. They donate money, and everybody just gets really involved in the community.
Yeah, and when we have to stay overnight at the school, the advisors will actually sleep with us. Like, they will come and they'll sleep in the field house with us. That's incredible. The amount of like dedication that they will go to, make this possible. It's incredible.
And I think one thing, like over the 15 years and what people have to, our first year was, and really it was $5,000. And sometimes people get hung up on the dollar amount. And really it's been more than that. I think for us, it started off as two things, like Mr. Schrock said. One is giving back to the community, but it's also been a culture building for our whole district, because you can see when you travel to different buildings, and even I'm a high school teacher here, but as people come up, they're wearing these senior survivor shirts from the past 15 years. And it's something that everyone feels a part of. And so it's a game changer from that standpoint of something at the end of the year that really brings our community together. And I think people that are interested, I think one is like Mr. Schrock says, the why, but also having a vision of what you want to create. I think we're very fortunate when we started off. It just started off small, and just like anything, then it kind of snowballed and got bigger and bigger. And we've evolved a lot over the years. And I think that would be for anybody is like, we've shared with schools and they've done different things, but we've evolved every year. I don't think there's a year we've ever done it the same way twice. And even with COVID and the pandemic, you know, we've learned to adapt to using more online payments. You know, we've adjusted things and tried to learn every year and take positives, you know, having live stream events and having way to look at what technology's out there to help it grow. And really our community is huge. You know, the Howell community, the Livingston County community has really supported us in helping it grow too.
Well, before I hand it over to Ryan, I just have to say I commend you for the vision and what you've built in this project, because my takeaway from all of this is the excitement that I hear from the students. One of the comments that I just heard was, I look forward to this my entire high school career. So, you know, for students to look forward to something like this, where they're giving back to their own, giving back to their communities. Again, I just commend you for, you know, what you've been able to do with this.
Well, thank you. We would be more than happy. Any one of our staff, even students, would be more than happy if a school is listening that thinks, you know, this is something I'd like to try. We'd be more than happy to sit down and talk with them about what we've done. But I would also encourage them. I think all of our videos have been uploaded to a YouTube channel.
Yep.
So you can look at them throughout the years. And that has been a very large component of making this exciting for our school community. Being able to embrace social media and publish things. Again, it's all student driven, student produced. We've got a TV crew that works literally around the clock to make sure the next morning our students and staff can walk into the highlights from the day before. And they are just as much a part of the survivor culture as the senior survivors themselves. But all of the fun things that over years have been captured digitally, and you can check that out online.
You know, and I think anybody else that, if you're really looking for a community event, I think this year is our 15th year, but even this year we have a Team Orange all the time. And one of our past survivors now has a food truck. And this year he came back and set up his food truck and sold, you know, Fires pizzas that, you know, to help out. He doesn't even know the student that was part of his team, but just to help out and give back. So this thing is really grown for us to be a community event, to bring even our alumni back, you know, and just be part of something special.
That's amazing. I'm trying to think of a way. We have to get that Jeff, is it Probst, the survivor host? We have to get him out to Howell High School somehow to check this out. This has just been absolutely amazing. And for anybody that follows what, you know, Howell does, you know, we've had Amy Pashik on the podcast before as well, from the freshman campus, talking about Hope Squads. And it just seems like you guys do so many amazing things throughout the year that aligns to, as Mr. Schrock mentioned, you know, your why and what you're here for, serving the students in the community. So really, really appreciate everyone's time. And I look forward to this time of the year, every year, seeing that, like you said, those videos and those pictures come up on social media, because it's just seems like an amazing program or project that, as you described, takes a ton of work and a ton of teammates to help make happen, but something that's definitely worth it. So really, really appreciate you guys explaining that to our listeners today.
Absolutely. Appreciate the opportunity to you both. Couldn't advocate for a more impactful program on school culture district-wide than Senior Survivor. What it's done for us to bring people together through the years is just phenomenal. So really appreciate you taking some time to let us share a little bit of the story.
All right. And that's going to do it for another edition of the MASSP podcast. Nina and I will be back possibly with one or two more yet to wrap up season 6. Otherwise, her and I are going to start planning out episodes for season 7 for the next school year. So we appreciate everyone listening. Have a great day.